Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back courtside for the fifth game of today of 15 total of the D3Hoops.com Classic at South Point Arena. Getting ready for the next game, final game. It's going to have to make up for the last one to some degree. It is the Wartburg Knights coming in at 8-1 and ranked 13th in the country, taking on the Stevens Point Pointers, 6-3 and not ranked nationally. I am Dave McHugh. We'll be joined alongside by somebody. Both guys under the weather, so if this ends up being a solo affair, so be it. They deserved it. Hard work on the last game. And congratulations to, of course, Ohio Wesleyan for a heck of a game to get to where they ended up being in their game against Ramapo. We'll get you starters of this game momentarily. Wartburg Knights coming in off of an 18-game rest, let's call it, where Stevens Point just played at the other side of the Christmas break when they took on Augustana, losing to the top 5 ranked team in the country. Let's take a look at starting lineups as we mentioned, and we will start with Wartburg and their starters for this game. Starting for Wartburg, number 4, Sawyer Herman, a 6'2 senior guard from Monticello, Iowa. Also at guard, number 10, Cam Kickbush, 6-foot junior guard from Rhinebeck, Iowa. Also at guard, a 12, Nate Wurst, a 6'4 senior guard from Atkins, Iowa. And also at guard, Jaron Sarbus, the 6'1 junior guard from Urbandale, Iowa. That's the starters for Wartburg, again 8-1, ranked 13 in the country. UW Stevens Point Pointers coming in, guard number 3, MJ Delmore, 5'10 senior from Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. They actually played Augustana in Wisconsin Dells in a neutral site game. Number 21, Mark Nelson, a 6-foot junior guard from Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. Drew Fredrickson, the 6-foot junior guard from Mount Orab, Wisconsin. At forward, Matt Coroner, the 6'8 sophomore from West Bend, Wisconsin. And also at forward, number 44, Brett Tauber, the 6'7 junior from Madison, Wisconsin. As we get ready to get this one underway, as you see the center tip from our unique vantage point. Stevens Point in their home whites with purple uniforms moving left to right. And winning the opening tip, it is Wartburg who gets it. They're wearing their road uniforms with the Wartburg orange numbers and trim. Thank gosh I'm close to it, because honestly that's a little tight for a colorblind gentleman like myself. Nice feed inside. Wartburg underway with the early scoring in this one, 2-0 off the feed. It was Gailing with the basket, and I am joined by Mr. Ira Thor. Hello, sir. How is your voice?
My voice after a quick break is doing much better, but I don't have to do the heavy lifting this game.
There is an over-under on how far you go. Long 3, no good for Stevens Point. Out of bounds remain with the Pointers. A quick note on the Pointers coming in, as we mentioned, 6-3. They were 14-10 last year, and of course the big note of that was Bob Semling not coaching the final 13 games of the regular season. They eliminated themselves from qualifying for the tournament in both the conference and in the regular season, or the postseason. Not that they would have qualified. 6-3 overall, and haven't played a wide game. 3-1 at home, 3-1 on the road, and 0-1 in neutral site games. That one neutral game that you lost to Augustana. Scoring about 69.5 points a game, allowing 64.5, which is in the top 30 in the country. They have the 4th best three-point shooting in the country at 43.7%. 7th best, or fewest turnovers per game at 10.4. Appropriately enough, as Wartburg throws the ball away.
Aaron nails that one to the bench. And, as a voter in the poll for, 15 years, to me, I think one of the biggest benefits of being here in person, Dave, is actually seeing two more teams that I've never seen. I've seen them on video, but I've never ever seen in person before. And
we see a lot of games on video, and they do as much justice as we can, but in person is invaluable.
You get a more feel for the team.
If someone wants to set up a yearly fund to let me go around the country just watching games, I would greatly appreciate it, because I would love it. Shot low on the shot clock up, no good for Delmore.
We got to get you up to the Jersey Tour one of these weeks.
Oh, come on. That's not hard to do. I could do it blindfolded. It's just a matter of getting through the toll booths.
Might even let you stay at my house.
Steal for the Pointers. Up ahead and stealed right back by Wartburg. By the way, go ahead.
The only shame for me is that this is not the same Stevens Point team that it was a few years ago when they were national championship contenders.
This isn't the same.
Wartburg, meanwhile, I have them in my poll. I have them 9th. That's where I picked them in the last
double
week.
check. I don't have them that high, but I finally bought in a couple weeks ago and have them in the top 20 to be sure, if not top 15. Quick notes on Wartburg off the miss. 8-1. They were 21-10 last season. We'll talk about that 21-10 in a minute. 2-0 in the IAC. They're 5-0 at home, 2-1 on the road, 1-0 in neutral site games. They're scoring 75, almost 76 points a game and allowing about 70 points a game. Don't really rank nationally in anything except for fouls. 24th fewest in the country at 15.1. So that's kind of a quick little look at Wartburg, and we'll get you more details as they come along.
Yeah, Gelling with the block there, 6'6". Matchup problem down low.
Yeah, Galing, that 6'6" body started every game for the Knights, as has everybody in this starting lineup. He is certainly a presence inside. So far, we're not seeing any signs of shooting the lights out of the building, but certainly a try by Delmore, but it's no good. Tried to buy a foul from the officials who were not in the charity mood. Shot up, no good from Herman, and ball trickles out of bounds.
Well, you mentioned shooting the lights out. I mean, we could do another 50 games here, maybe 100 games, and never see what we saw with Ohio Wesleyan. And the game that preceded this.
It's interesting. I saw a game earlier this season where a team shot 17 in their first half. They were shooting 78% from beyond the arc, but they eventually tailed off. Ohio Wesleyan didn't tail off until the last 6-7 minutes of the game.
Yep. And that was mostly them forcing shots to beat the shot clock.
Right, and that was them kind of killing the clock. Or I was going to say backing off too. Great effort there, driving in. Nate Dodge gets 2 points for Stevens Point. Wartburg down quickly the other end, misses their shot, up by Herman. But they get the offensive rebound. We'll try and reset the offense for themselves, but blocked out of bounds, and Stevens Point picks up their first foul. Foul's going to come against Matt Corner, the 6'8" sophomore. And substitutions for the Pointers coming in. Number 32 and 34, Cannon O'Haron, the 6'5" junior forward from Bangor, Wisconsin. I got to ask, is it Bangor, Wisconsin, or is in Maine? Is it Bangor?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Of course, I'm probably saying it wrong anyway. Number 34, Blake Eric, the 6'4" sophomore forward from Deerfield, Wisconsin, into the game.
Well, it helps for the pronunciations. We have you with your New England roots. We got
Pat helping us with the big ones. Yeah, that's a big one for us.
And you got me in the Mid-Atlantic. Three-pointers certainly aren't going down early in this one like they were for Ohio Wesleyan.
I get a foul on the rebound. They're going to call it on Colin Workman. Blake Irk, I believe. I'm going to double-check my notes. By the way, we should point out, I can't believe we've gone this long without mentioning that as shot falls for Wartburg, that Stevens Point playing with basically without their best player, Bublitz, who has only played one game this season, was injured, tried to suck it up and try and do it. Just wasn't going to happen. And he is out for the rest of the season. And nice three-pointer from Nate Dodge. There's the guy to watch in this one. But in the meantime, back to Bublitz. He will come back, from what I've been told, next year off a red shirt. Just an unfortunate injury that won't allow him. He's basically student assisting this season, as Wartburg forces up a shot.
And you know what happens now with a lot of these students, that if they do choose that play for that 5th year, grad school has become an increasingly enticing opportunity. Master's
or guys like me who couldn't do it in 4 years.
Well, I mean, or me. I was on the 5.
I was on the 5+ year plan.
One summer class plan.
Yep, there you go.
But
summer classes? What are those? I'm being sarcastic.
Get through, but so many more students are doing graduate school now that if you do choose to do that 5th year, you can play while being a grad student.
You had the big game from Ohio Wesleyan in outside the arc. Keep an eye on Dodge. He's had a couple of pretty nice games from the three-point arc this season. Nice cut to the rim, and quick points for Tyler Zumbach, who checks into the game. Ziumbach, I believe, is actually how you say it. Just like the composer, I love that. Is a note from their sports information director. 6'5", less than 15 minutes to play in this one. Last time Stevens Point was in town in the Vegas Classic. They went on to win a national title from there. Back in 2013, had an incredible overtime game against Whitman. I've said for the last year or so, as Wartburg hits another shot, that was the turning point for the Whitman program. Stevens Point obviously went on to win a national title. That wasn't too bad. Both the D3 Hoops Classic and Hoopsville Classic have had participants go on to win national titles at least once in their history, if not on the women's side for this event a little bit more often than that. Traveling violation called on the Pointers, and the Knights get the ball back.
Well, just the fact that we've got a bracket this year with 4 of the 9 teams are nationally ranked.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
pretty good
couldn't
chance.
ask for any more.
No, this is one of the best D3 Hoops Classics we've had, some of the best matchups we've had, and that's not a knock on anything else. It's so hard to control it because these teams choose to come to this and pay their way. It's not like a Hoopsville Classic in the past where it's an invitational. As a shot inside for Wartburg again, and the guy eating them up so far is Clifton Brown, the 6'5" senior forward from Mims, Florida. But, this is something that teams choose to come to, so we don't have a lot of control over who comes.
Yep.
And we have some control on the scheduling, but sometimes that's based on scheduling as Dodge drives the lane and his foul will go to the line. So to have this many ranked teams is pretty darn incredible. And we'll talk later in the broadcast about how Wartburg is ranked off of what could be called one of the more improbable seasons that many teams would have had to finish, but we'll get to that later as Dodge hits the free throw line here.
Well, it's also become a tournament now because schools have seen others in their own conferences
Absolutely.
have success that you want to come to. This is the marquee regular season event in Division III.
We mentioned Dodge coming in. Watch him on the in 3-point shooting. He's 5th best free throw or 3-point percentage in the country. He is a 15 of 18 from beyond the arc and already hit one today.
He made those foul shots look easy.
Cuts the deficit to within 3. Stevens Point, they are known for their defense, and I remember watching games here last time they were here where they put on a clinic. That is definitely what Wartburg's going to have to battle against. No matter how good or under average we're used to for Stevens Point, their defense is always phenomenal. Pointers swinging around. Dodge 3, missed it. Good look at it off the screen. And Wartburg will come back the other direction, having a 10-7 lead. Talked to Coach Dick Paith right beforehand. He expressed concern with that 18-day layoff as a shot in the corner missed by Stolkin. He said, I'm worried how these guys are going to come out on this one. And so far, they're not too bad. We'll see how this game progresses. Tall rebound there and hauling it down by Kickbush. Nice feed, but going out of bounds, unfortunately, by Stolkin. But Kickbush with a beautiful feed just couldn't get it to convert.
Almost got so used to seeing the threes fall in that last game that the fact that nothing is going right now,
it's wrong.
It feels wrong.
Yeah, we've used our allotment for the day.
There are no more threes for you or anybody for the rest of the weekend.
12:45 left to go here in the first half of what is hopefully not anticlimactic, but after the last game, may have no choice. 3-pointer on the way and buried. Stevens Point ties it up off the tray from Fredrickson. 10-10 here, 12:25 left to go. Nice feed inside. I think he got surprised he was that open.
Yeah.
He had a look, didn't he not? Mr. Gailing was a little surprised to find himself that open on the give and go. 2-point lead for the Knights. This is the 5th game of the day and a steal. Going coast to coast, it'll be Smith-Dreos. Hits the shot off the steal.
And the mistake that Nelson made there when he initially saw that Smith-Dreos was leaning towards the ball, he still went with the play.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think he saw him cheating and couldn't. It was one of those where your brain starts telling you no, but it's too late. You've already executed the play with your body, and you can't get out of it. 3-pointer missed by Kickbush, and a jump ball called on the offensive or on the rebound. The ball will go over to Stevens Point as Wartburg will check in Herman and Wasty back into the game.
Wartburg team that you think would be the favorite in I think an underrated IIAC, but there's other teams in the league, Dave, that
Nebraska Wesleyan, even Buena Vista could be good, but there's a couple others in that conference that could be really.
I think people forget about Nebraska Wesleyan.
I think a lot of people forget about them. Good start, but not against a lot of good talent. But they really had success last season in that conference in their first year, and are a pick to win it this year.
I think some are probably not even aware that they're now a member of the league.
That's probably true. Delmore misses the layup. Knights go coast to coast, and a nice after-body contact for Sabas. They hit the shot. Wartburg extends their lead back out to 4.
And when Nebraska Wesleyan made the decision whether to stay D3 or take the NAIA route.
Well, they were a split member for
basically forever.
Yeah, they were both NAIA and D3 and played about half or less of their schedules. Another 2 points for Stevens Point. This one coming from Nets. Yeah, when they finally decided to go all in, I took note because it really meant they were going to make some sacrifices.
And that was really the only league geographically that makes any sense.
Well, they could have joined the SCAC and be like a Colorado college, but that didn't make much sense. The closest they were to anybody else was the IAC.
Yeah, and to this day, I'm still surprised that Colorado College makes it work in that league.
Well, they got a great sponsor in Frontier Airlines. Is how they make that work. That's helpful when you have. Yeah. They have a sponsor. You look at the bottom of their page. Well, they have 2 D1 programs. They have an ice hockey men's and a women's soccer program that are D1. Not that helps the D3s, but it can help you get into situations where you have a deal with like a Frontier Airlines, where then you can kind of deal with your flights in some sense. I'm not saying they're getting a deal because of D1. That's not allowed. By the way, checking into the game for Stevens Point. I just lost track of who it was. No, there he is, number 5, Coco Spangolo. The 6'1" junior from Madison, Wisconsin. His shot clock down to 1. Ball goes out of bounds. Stevens Point turns it over. Wartburg takes it back over. And we danced on this. Let's talk about Wartburg. Wartburg last season at one point had lost, I wrote it down, 8 of 13 in the middle of the season. And basically had to win their way into the conference tournament to begin with. We're a 5 or 6 seed as they shoot the 3 and bury it. Mr. Nate Wasty wastes no time on that shot and buries it. 5-point lead, biggest of the game for Wartburg. They have to win their way into the tournament. Then they go on a 3-game road winning streak to win the conference tournament, which was unheard of. They enter the NCAA tournament at 19-9 as an automatic bid, and then defeat Benedictine and River Falls, and those games weren't even close as going coast to coast, and Wartburg extends the lead. They make this incredible run, as Bob Semling will give us a chance to talk it more over as he calls timeout.
Yeah, they beat Benedictine, which was 23-4, a top 5 team.
And had been to the Final Four the year before.
Won that game by 26.
That game was out of hand early.
And Wartburg beat River Falls by
the host at River Falls
33.
And that game was out of hand and done with early. They were, as Pat reminds us, they were hitting everything like Ohio Wesleyan was in the last game. I remember watching that online and couldn't believe what I was watching. We were doing the wraparound show, and it was incredible to watch what they were doing. But here's the key, Ira. They had 3 seniors on that squad that were all starting. They lost a ton of points, a ton of rebounds, and a ton of assists. So they come in. Some voters voted on the top 25. No, come on. They barely got into the position they were in to begin with, and then they lost all this talent. You want me to vote for them?
And now I gave the benefit of the doubt. I had them 21 in my preseason poll.
But here they come. I talked to Dick Paith on Hoopsville, and I said, what's the deal? He said, these guys got experience last year that they didn't normally get, that he wasn't expecting them to get. And it was really that run was bench play. Yes, starters were good, but it was bench play that made the turnaround. It was these guys who are now starting.
Yep.
And I watched them a couple times and was very impressed. And now
the fact
here they
that it took an Augustana team that was a point away from winning a national title to knock them out.
Yes, you're right. Of course, at Rock Island, which is one of the more difficult places to play in Division III. Shot clock down to 6. Shot no good for Stevens Point, who trails by 7 here. So this Wartburg squad kind of proving a lot of naysayers like myself, not wrong necessarily, but hey, this is who we are. We're solid. And
Wartburg is to you what Ohio Wesleyan was to
absolutely.
me. I wasn't giving them the love they deserve.
You haven't been voting them at all, though. There's a whole different conversation. It's a 3-pointer. Wartburg's heating up, 24-14 the lead now against these pointers.
Every time I thought about it, I always found somebody else to put in there.
Oh, I agree, and that was me early on.
I had Wesleyan. who I put in instead of them. St. John's, I put in ahead of them. Who was the last team?
Everybody I've been voting for too.
And Nichols was the latest team that I chose over that. And I was wrong.
You should just call me more often.
I kid.
9 seconds on the shot clock. Stevens Point trailing by 10. Needs a basket. 4 on the shot clock. Running out of time. 3-2. Forcing the 3. Buries it. Great composure from Songola. Hits the 3-pointer.
Yeah, I don't know if my blood pressure can handle constant phone calls with you after us calling about 20 games together.
I apologize. I've been saying his name wrong. Songalo. As Wartburg misses the shot.
Sungalo.
Sungalo. I'll just show it to you.
3-pointer was short.
7.5 minutes left to go here. And Wartburg's got the 7-point lead. By the way, back to Stevens Point as timeout's going to be called by Dick Pafe. It's going to take a quick 30 to discuss things. Stevens Point, they are in the midst of a heck of a run, Ira. They played Augustana, the number 2 team in the country, before Christmas. This is their second game against top 13 teams. They're going to play 4 games against top 13 squads. Actually, top 14 because Iowa Wesleyan's 14. This run, you could argue before they get into WIAC play, this is make or break part of their season. If they lost Augustana, if they go 3-1 coming out of this, they're in tremendous shape going into what is a crowded WIAC race this season. You have Oshkosh, you have Whitewater, you have River Falls, so they're a little off. Add Stevens Point to the mix, and it could be fascinating. But they're trailing right now.
I've been in love with Oshkosh. I've had them as high as 3rd. And pretty much consistently 4th in my rankings.
I've had them
all year.
I've had them in my rankings. I leapfrogged them into the top 10, and then into the top 5 in the last 2 votes. Whitewater I actually backed off. They're in my top 20, but they're not playing as well as I was thinking they would be playing. I also may have put a little too much stock into them, admittedly. They have a lot of transfers that they're trying to get used to. But the Stevens Point squad, a little bit of there's just, I wouldn't say it's the same pointer squad we're used to. And there's a lot of reasons. We're not going to get into them on the broadcast here tonight, but 3-pointer for Wartburg as they extend their lead. And I have it wrong on the screen. I apologize, folks. It is 27-17. This is a pointer squad, though, that's still dangerous because they can play incredible defense. There's a 3-pointer by Dodge. Makes it a 7-point game.
You know what? As long as Bob Semling is in charge of the program, they're going to be well coached.
Oh, that's true.
And they're going to find a way.
That's true. They did lose their longtime assistant coach. Shot in the corner. Hey, boys, the teams are heating up from outside. 30-20. 6:28 left to go. No, both teams might total 13 threes made in this half. Ohio Wesleyan did that in the first half against Ramapo in the last game, if you were tuning in.
And then set an all-time record of 25 in the game.
He, again, Stevens Point losing their all-time or the long-time assistants. Nate Dodge hits a long 2. Toe on the line on that one. Lost him to Eau Claire, who had an opening. So they have a little bit of a shift in their coaching staff. Not much. One of their other assistants on staff has been there for a while as well. So Kevin Hurd has been there. This is his 3rd season with the Pointers. And a foul called on Wartburg. 8-point lead for Wartburg as we get a couple of whistles over here. Not sure. Oh, they got to indicate the foul. Now bring the substitutes in for the night. So they bring in 4. See if we can reset the floor a little bit here for Wartburg. Out there, it's Trevor Larson, the 5'11 senior guard from Jessup, Iowa, who we haven't mentioned yet. Also out there, Ryan Stolkin, along with Clifton Brown. Also, Max Smith-Dreos. And there's one guy missing, and I can't. There he is. He's hiding on me. I think it's. We'll get back to him. 3-pointer on the way for the Pointers. Front iron, no good. Hard-fought rebound by Tauber. And then Tauber's foot was out of bounds, and he'll turn it over. For the Pointers out there, it's Songalo along with Tauber. Also, Delmore, Fredrickson, and Dodge. Wartburg with possession. 5:22 left to go here in the first half. They've got an 8-point lead, 30-22. 13th ranked team in the country. Looking to stand up to it against a pretty tough competition in the pointers. Ill-advised pass is picked out of the air by Delmore, and Dodge will get it. Yes, very. Delmore is the glue on this team. And a jump ball. Great defense that time from Smith-Drayos.
You know, one thing I do like to see, and again, Wartburg, I did vote him in the poll when the year began. I just had a feeling that they would find a way to make an impact. I don't think anybody expected them to be 8-1 right now. But, I mean, you just look at their first game of the year, where they played Northern Iowa.
Oh, absolutely. I did notice that. Oh, but I'd already voted in the top 25 by that point. Dodge with a steal. Going coast to coast. No, but draws the foul. No, you're right. They played very well against Northern Iowa, to be sure. And
I just respect that. The teams that go out and will try to schedule tough, even if it's a game that they probably don't have a chance
and that's
to
what Stevens Point does almost every year, too, by the way. We should point out. They're not afraid to hide from competition either.
Look, Ramapo.
And Ramapo
coming here basically every year. You know, because
I will agree to disagree on that one, because I also don't think – I think they can schedule tougher and they avoid some things. Well, we can discuss that over a beer, sir, instead of here as checking into the game for Stevens Point.
I can tell you that sometimes coaches in a certain conference
Garrett Nelson
call for games and don't get responses.
No, that's not the problem.
I didn't say everybody, but it does happen.
Stevens Point gets 2 off the free throw line, cuts it to within 6. 4:40 left to go. Feed inside, Brown loses control. Delmore can't get a hold of it, kicks out of bounds. Who's it going to belong to? They're going to give it to Wartburg. 4:31 left to go in the first half. Discussing it just to make sure. I saw that bounce off a few people. I think, honestly, any ref could have a better angle and call that differently. I did see, they're going to say, interesting, they're going to say a full 30 on the shot clock. In the meantime, Delmore was arguing he never touched the ball. Well, actually, he did kick it. He was arguing that the other player for Wartburg reached down and touched it, but the officials don't agree with him. 4:25 left to go. It's the 5th game, folks. And a foul away from the ball. Brown trying to post up, and they're going to get Matt Kerner for the foul. And believe it or not, just the 4th team foul with 4:23 left. These teams have combined for just 7 team fouls. Checking into the game for the Knights, it is Jaron Sabas.
Oh, he had
Sabas. I've got Jaron Sabas. I apologize.
Clifton Brown wants that one back wide open. Was his teammate, and he just missed him.
Yeah. About 4 minutes left to go here in the first half. He's our Thor. I'm Dave McHugh here at the 8th annual D3Hoops.com Classic from the South Point Arena in Las Vegas. No more for the 3. Misses it. Up and in. Nice job on the rebound by Garrett Nelson. Cuts the deficit to within 4. Knights have slowed down a bit in their shooting. They had started to heat up. Drive the lane. Blocked. The shot by Sabas. The block by Fredrickson.
That's great ball movement, Dave. Just couldn't get it to go.
Yeah, couldn't get it to foul. Stolken with the rebound. And here come the Knights in the other direction. 3.5 minutes to play. Coach Bob Semling patrolling the sideline as he always does, imploring his defense. Nice feed to the back post. Can't hit the shot for Drayos off the nice feed from his teammate. Delmore, he had an open layup. Overcommitted. I'm hoping he's not injured. He landed awkwardly, and he is slow to his feet, and he is limping.
Yeah, he looks like in a lot of pain.
He was injured at the beginning of the season, too. And he is not comfortable. And I hate to say it, he gave up a layup, Ira. He tried to feed it to Tauber, who was kind of in a forest. And I don't know. I think he missed an opportunity. I think Semling's trying to figure out what he wants to do here. Looks like he might bring in Brandon Spray, the 6'6" sophomore forward from Prairie du Sac, Wisconsin, for the first time. Also coming into the game is Aaron Netz.
Really hurts Stevens Point not having his accuracy out there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Inside and 2. Works out for them.
But he's not seeing the trainer, at least not initially.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll keep an eye on him, see what he's up to. As Wartburg extends the lead to 32-26 with 2:40 left. And no, there's someone over there now attending to him. And they're looking at the ankle. He's a good player. I like Delmore. Caught him in the first of their 2 practices today, trying to get his team to loosen up. He's a good leader for their team. .221 left, and Wartburg's going to go to the line here after hitting the shot. Get the opportunity to 3-point play. Going to the line here, it is Herman. Up and good. So he completes the 3-point play to make it a 9-point lead for the Knights. 2:15 left to go in the half. Feet up ahead, can't convert. Kick out for 3, good! Well, if you can't convert the easy layup because you're too far under the basket, look for an open teammate. Herman's there, it's a 12-point lead. .145 left to go. Tauber hands it off. Oh, try to get acrobatic, could not get it to far. It was Nelson. And a whistle will give it back to the Knights. Dodge doing a little bit of coaching on the sideline. .90 seconds left to go in the half. Shot top of the key, no good.
Good rebound.
Yeah, that's an
excellent
excellent
drive.
drive.
Love that jump stop rebound.
Guys are in the right position, and I will always say that about the Pointers. They are a disciplined team. They know how to block out. They know how to be in the right position. It helps that their defense is so solid. They're just having, you could say, is maybe an off year. There's a lot more season ahead. There's a whole YX schedule ahead.
Sloppy turnovers don't help.
And no, that's the key. Pass inside, kick out, long 2 on the way, no good. And they're going to call, Tauber's not going to like this, but he was leaning forward. Did you see? I don't know if you saw it, but he was leaning forward, kind of pushing with his arms, and that's why the foul was called. If he had stayed straight up, there's no call. Checking into the game for Stevens Point will be Matt Kerner, and Tauber will take a seat. Teams have combined for 10 fouls, 7 of them on Stevens Point, and that's why going to the line here to shoot is Wasty. First one is good on the 1-and-1. He's got one more coming.
Each team with 4 threes in this half.
It's a little quiet.
Very quiet compared to what we just saw.
I was going to say, before the last game, we might have been complimenting that. 40-26. Wartburg is extending this lead, and Stevens Point is letting this one get a little bit out before the half. That's going to be a harder fight in the second half to get back from. Drive in, spin, move, nothing there, goes up and under. If that had fallen, I'm not sure what, that would have been outstanding. Got himself in trouble and couldn't convert. Less than 30 seconds to play. Wartburg with a 14-point lead. There's about a second and a half difference between game clock and shot clock. 2.5 seconds. So Wartburg most likely will use every second they can. Shot clock at 7. Nice job of Stevens Point blocking the shot. They'll come the other way. 5 seconds left, looking for a final shot of the half. Fade away from 17. Tip in, no good. And that will do it for halftime.
Well, I think Wartburg came out and played their game and made some people take note, because to be up 14 on a still a good Stevens Point team at this point in the game definitely sends a statement that they deserve some more respect.
Especially after 18 days.
Exactly.
On the bench, as it were. They played a Sunday, I think it was, and then Monday had their exam period start and haven't played since then. This is their first time. They were practicing 2 days ago here, I think it was, I've lost track of time as to where everybody's been. I think they were out here on the 26th and practicing already. So they at least got some time in to get things rolling. But a slow start for both teams, not that surprising. Stevens Point tight there, Ira. But then Wartburg hit a couple key three-pointers, extended the lead, and then just slowly but surely started extending it further.
Wartburg made its shots in the second half of this first period. And you look at the field goal percentage, it's looked sneaky, but they're shooting 62% right now. Didn't feel like it.
No, you're right.
But they were consistent in the final 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, agreed. We're going to take a break. When we come back, a lengthy break, give Ira a break on his voice. We'll get you stats to get you ready for the second half. Final game of day 1 of the D3Hoops.com Classic. Wartburg leads, 13th ranked Wartburg leads Stevens Point 40-26 in men's basketball action. Back with more after this.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that.
It's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
Our obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn that in giving, we receive so much more in return. Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
In any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
To stand up.
To make our community safe for all. It's on us.
It's on us to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us.
To be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us, all of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Great moments are born from great opportunity. That's what you have here tonight. That's what you've earned here tonight. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
I used to never really talk. Ever. I was scared and shy. It was hard to look at people's faces. I was afraid if I said something wrong, everyone would laugh at me. But then I started to play golf with Special Olympics. I made friends and won lots of gold medals. But I learned more than just playing golf. Special Olympics helped me to find my voice. And now everyone else is speechless.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
For the love of the game. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
This is our It's On Us pledge. It's on us to make a personal commitment to help keep all people safe from sexual assault, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, or ability.
Not to be bystanders to the problem, but to be leaders of the solution. We invite you to join us in this campaign by informing your campuses about the It's On Us mission.
It starts right when you hit the court. You imagine your finest moment. The game-winning shot that gets you to the dance. A monster dunk or no-look pass, and cutting down the net. Sports lets us dream of our own success and prepare us for our finest moments on and off the court.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that.
It's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
Our obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn that in giving, we receive so much more in return. Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
We are calling you, all of you. We are calling all Division III schools to join our cause.
It's on us to start the change. It's on us to be the change. It's on us. It's on Division III. It's on all of us to stop sexual assault.
This is why we love sports. It's in the way they play, free from the pressures and all the money talk. Playing for simply the love of the game, where everyone has a shot at their definition of success on and off the field. This is what we love about sports, and what we can still love about college sports.
cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Welcome back. I know you've been watching a beautiful, our beautiful camera shot from midcourt. We're now ready to give you some halftime stats. Number 13th ranked Wartburg up on the pointers of Stevens Point, 40-26 at halftime for Wartburg. They're being led by Nate Wasty with 10 points on 3 of 3 shooting, 2 for 2 from beyond the arc, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, leading the team with 4 rebounds as well. Second team with 9 points, it's Jaron Sabas, 4 of 8 shooting, 1 for 2 from beyond the arc. 6 points for Sawyer Herman, then 4 points for Josh Gayling and Clifton Brown. 3 points for Trevor Larson, and 2 points each for Tyler Zumbach and Max Smith-Dreos. Team is shooting 16 for 29 from the floor at 55.2%, not too shabby there. 5 for 12 from beyond the arc at 41.7%, perfect 3 for 3 from the free throw line. For the pointers, they're being led by Nate Dodge, no surprise, 4 of 7 from the floor, 2 for 5 from beyond the arc, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line for 14 points. Next guy up, it is Drew Fredrickson and Coco Songalo with 3 points each, and 2 points each for Mark Nelson, Garrett Nelson, and Aaron Netz. So basically it's the Nate Dodge show for the pointers right now. 9 of 29 shooting for those baskets made by Nelson, 31%. 4 of 13 from beyond the arc, 30.8%, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line, which is nice to see. Both teams combining.
But nobody else
7 of 7.
Stevens Point is more than 3 points.
Yeah. Wartburg out rebounding the pointers 18-15. Wartburg has 8 assists and 8 turnovers. Stevens Point 4 assists, 9 turnovers. Points in the paint, Wartburg eating it up, 22-8. Points off turnovers, Wartburg 16-7. Second chance, it's 4-2 in favor of Wartburg, and fast break, it's 8-0 in favor of Wartburg. Now, Stevens Point has the bench nod at 21-11, but that's because Nate Dodge comes off the bench and has contributed 14 of those 21. Again, we've had 2 lead ties and 2 lead changes. Wartburg is led by as many as 14. Stevens Point is only led by as much as a single digit.
And we said Wartburg was shooting 62%. Last couple shots were not actually reflected in the what we had on the screen, so it's dipped a little bit, but still a pretty sizzling 55%.
Yeah. Both teams will have 5 timeouts starting the second half. Nobody was really in any foul trouble. Zumbach, the worst player for Wartburg, with 2, but they only had 3 total fouls. Only 7 total for Stevens Point. 2 of their players, Nate Dodge and Brett Tauber, had 2 each as well. So no real big foul issues there. A reminder, we will get things back underway tomorrow in day 2 action from the South Point Arena. It will start off with women's basketball at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Occidental versus Hamlin. Then at noon, a big top 10 battle. Number 3 Amherst versus number 6 Trine. That's noon Pacific time. Then 2 p.m. Central will take on number 6 Ramapo. Then at 4, Carroll versus Pacific Lutheran, and at 6, number 1 Whitman takes on these Pointers of Stevens Point. And Stevens Point, he has the first.
And a couple guys holding their heads.
Yeah, big collision on the opening shot.
Yeah, especially right now, concerned for Wartburg. Josh Galen was holding the left side of his temple. And he's going to come out. They're going to take a look at him.
Yeah. Stevens Point is banged up to begin with as he is actually holding his head. He looks pretty dazed. But they don't need to take any more hits if they could afford it.
By the way, we hope those of you watching this game are staying as warm as possible. It is currently 4 degrees in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. It feels like 8 below. It is a balmy 12 degrees in Waverly, Iowa.
Balmy is an understatement. It is cold basically everywhere east of the Rockies.
It's actually kind of cold here for what you normally would get this time of year.
No, they're having a heat wave.
This is warm?
Yes. This is actually unseasonably warm. It's usually in the high 40s.
Wow.
Shot. It's a desert, sir. Another big shot for Wartburg, 3-pointer.
Remember, my
for
first
the Knights.
time
I
in the
know.
desert.
Sawyer Herman buries it. Yeah, I'm usually considering which jacket to bring, and this year I actually only brought a jacket to protect a piece of gear. And I didn't want to freeze walking from the car to the airport.
Wise man, self-preservation.
Usually I will ditch the jacket in the car to meet me on the way back, but I realized it would be just as frozen when I returned.
Listen, I had to do a layover in Chicago at O'Hare. My God.
No, you're just an old man,
It was
sir.
freezing
Dad,
there.
you're just an old man. Let's just be honest.
This part is true. I'm not going to deny that.
19:15 left to go here. Wartburg up 43-26. Delmore, nice to see him back out there after finishing the first half on the sideline due to a tweaked ankle. Missed the shot, got the rebound, but then his teammate Dodge has one halfway down and come back out.
And you wonder how much that ankle is still bothering him because Delmore had a lot of time to set in that 3 and still came out fairly short.
Okay. Bravo, Delmore. Bravo. He's got a smile on his face. Bravo. He saw Brown coming in. He met Brown with a hip and then made it look like Brown had rolled him over. Bravo. I will give it to him. It was strategy.
Veteran play.
It was just a veteran play. If he did it every time down the court, I'd have a different thinking on it. But he was smart to get it. Got the foul on Brown. Brown's second foul of the game. 43-26 here. Pointers.
Should mention Wartburg has not lost a game against Division III competition this year.
You're right.
Their
They're
only
one
loss
loss coming to Northern Iowa. A game that they chose to count. Delmore with the drive. I think the ankle looks pretty good, sir. Hits the layup. Yeah, in a lot of Division IIIs might play a D1 and call it an exhibition game, which they're allowed to do against D1 components, even D2, and they can count it as a real game. It's a quirk in the NCAA rules. Don't ask us to get into it right now. But they chose to make that a real game and played well. That is their only loss, so they're perfect against D3. 18 minutes left to go in this one. They like to stay perfect against D3 as they've got a 43-28 lead. And a foul on the second shot attempt by Gailing. Foul called on Kerner, his second foul. So Gailing will go to the line here to shoot. Gailing, normally on the season, he came into the game just 4 of 14 from the free throw line. He misses that one. He's now 4 of 15 on the season. 5 of 16 as he hits the second free throw. 44-28, less than 18 to play in the half. I'm Dave McHugh alongside Ira Thor, Pat Coleman, and our other broadcasting partner, and our photographer Larry Radloff here, representing D3 Hoops at the D3Hoops.com Classic, the 8th annual at South Point Arena in Las Vegas. If you're watching this at home, wondering if you can come here, talk to your coaching staff. We'd probably love to have them. Nate Dodge's 3 was missed, but I think someone got a hand on it. That's why Wartburg went for the save. They hold on to possession, and we'll get into the offensive zone. 3-pointer on the way, buried it. Big shot from Kickbush as Wartburg now leads their biggest lead of the game by 19. And things have started to unravel for the Pointers since about 5 minutes left in the first half, and they have not been able to find some answers here. Their stout defense is starting to get picked apart by Wartburg, and they're getting stymied on offense.
Wartburg's doing a real good job of switching.
Yes, they are. Delmore with a drive. Can't get it to fall after being fouled. You're right, Wartburg's doing a very nice job on defense.
And it's not an easy defense to execute.
No.
You have to be able to communicate almost without even saying anything.
Agreed. So Delmore go to line here to shoot 2. Delmore, who's playing just his 8th game of the season for the team's 10th, hits the free throw. 9 of 13 coming into the game. And the second one is up and good. That's his first trip to the line, so he's now 11 of 15 on the season. 47-30 the lead for the Knights, who will... Yep, going to give him the offensive foul. There was a little wait on that one. Dodge picked it up. I think the question was whether he was outside the arc. He was, and a good job by Dodge of being in position.
He got his feet set, and he was probably about a foot outside the arc.
Yep.
So good job by the officials getting together and getting that right. I gotta say, at least 3 games that I've seen so far, officiating has been fantastic.
Yeah, officiating here has always been pretty good. Not always perfect. You can't be perfect.
Oh, it's never going to be perfect.
No. Wartburg will get the day off, folks. They will be back on Saturday. What day? Saturday, 2 o'clock local time against Augsburg. Shot no good from...
You realize there's no clocks in Vegas, right?
Yes, I'm very aware. That's why I'm always lost on time.
I don't know what day it is.
Fredrickson missed the 3 on the other end. 16 minutes left to go here. And we do know you're all watching it from the frigid northern parts of this country. We do hope you are staying warm, as a big 3 from Kickbush and fouled makes it a 20-point game with a chance to make it larger.
Chance for a 4-point play, and that, with a lot of time left, could be what it takes to kind of just take the motivation out of Stevens Point here. I don't think they ever imagined being down by 20.
No, I don't think they did either.
We've had seen this twice now. Last game as well. Ramapo never saw that coming as well, and who could?
Mentioning the weather, first D3Hoops.com Classic of its existence. We had 2 teams who couldn't make the trip due to weather. I'm just glad we had nobody from the Erie, Pennsylvania area coming here for this trip, because I don't think they've even gotten out of their own houses yet. 100+ inches of snow fell. Delmore for 3.
I'd be concerned about the roof. Have you seen some of the pictures?
Yes, I have. I can only relate that a few years ago when everybody talked about the Boston blizzards, my parents living in down East Maine got about 50 additional inches, and I almost drove up there to clear the roof off.
I just can't imagine the pressure on that roof.
Yeah, I almost went up there.
Supporting the roof, man.
It's dangerous, very dangerous. Nice drive, and picking up the foul is Songalo. So all our thoughts are with those. I love a good snowstorm, but even that might be a little too much.
So I've been in Erie, Pennsylvania once in my life.
Okay.
Spring of '97. I could not afford to go to Cancun, so we decided to go
to Erie, Pennsylvania.
To Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
But we had to drive through Erie.
Yes, you did.
And we got stuck on I-80. Out of nowhere, it was clear.
Oh,
and then all of a sudden,
there you go.
Boom. And we got stuck in about 2-foot squalls of snow.
Welcome to Lake Effect
It was
snow,
my first ever experience with it. We actually slept on I-80, waiting for the state troopers to come take us out.
Nate Wasty and Tyler Zumbach.
It sounds funny to say because the plows are usually the ones that do the plowing, obviously, but we actually had state troopers knocking on our window making sure we were okay. Never forget that.
Both free throws good. And it's down to a 15-point deficit, so Pointers trying to fight back here with 15 minutes left to play.
Needless to say, I have not gone back to Erie, Dave.
I don't blame you. I understand that.
I'm back in the summer
That
sometime.
can be shocking. Well, you never know. You might get it then, too. Nice drive in. Can't get it to fall. Gets his own rebound. Kick out. Nice work by Gailing.
And they're just doing a fantastic job on the offensive glass.
They're doing what I'm used to from Stevens Point. Oh, and a good 3 look, and it doesn't fall for, I believe that was Larson. Nope, correction, that was Wasty.
Well, they only get 3 ops. They couldn't get one to go down.
Ryan Stolkin will check into the game.
Got to capitalize on those, Dave, if you want to pull away if you're Wartburg.
Yeah, agreed. Had 4 looks at the basket, 5 maybe, on that trip down the floor. As constant subs. This is the part of the game I think we got to work on. The constant, oh, by the way, trip to the substitution line. And we just got to clean it up. If you're not there when the horn sounds, you don't come in. We want to talk about speeding up the game. That'll help. 14:30 left.
Fully concur with you.
Wartburg flying on defense. Sungalo in trouble at the top of the key. Gets it over to Delmore. Delmore with a nice fake, drives in, puts up a floater and off glass, sinks it. That was pretty.
How many times do you have to practice that to be able to pull that off?
You're so right.
That's just
well, it's also changing because you might drive, you might float. You don't know really until you get around the guy to choose what you want to do.
That's where muscle memory just takes over.
Yeah, agreed. Hand off, shot up, Gailing sinks it. 15-point lead again for Wartburg. Pointers are just on the edge of getting right back in this one. Wartburg hasn't figured out how to put an end to it just yet with 13:40 left. Well, that's the thing about the Pointers. They won't go away. I'm sure Augustana would tell you the same thing despite the final score. It's a foul on the effort by Nelson as he was driving and kicking. He got fouled. He thinks he's shooting. He's not. No, maybe he didn't think so at all. They just huddled up around the free throw line, made me think they thought this was a shooting scenario. 20 on the clock. Of course, that new rule in men's basketball where if there's a foul with less than 20 on the defense, it doesn't get a full reset. It gets set to 20. The idea is you don't need the 10 seconds it took you to come up the court. Of course, the kickball also reset to 20. There are some rules in both the men's and women's game as the shot by Dodge is missed. Oh, and a nice steal by Sungalo. There's some rules in both that I like. I just wish everybody got on the same page instead of making the games further and further different. But I digress. You can tune into Hoopsville to hear those opinions. Nice drive to the paint by Nelson in the feed from Dodge.
Yeah, great baseline cut there, and Dodge with the presence of mind to look up and see him.
Nice ball movement, but better defense from the Pointers. Nice steal, though. And Wartburg gets the layup on a crazy sequence there. Dreos with the shot.
Yeah, Dreos not giving up on a play after the initial turnover.
12:40 left to go. Pass nearly got out of bounds. Back to Delmore for 3. Gets it. Does not get the foul. He tried to convince the officials on. 12-point lead now for Wartburg as Stevens Point has come back from 20 down. Brown with the reverse layup. I think both teams just left the defense out the door for about 2 minutes there. See what happens here.
Wartburg also has Gailing on the bench, though, so this is a good time for.
Well, it's a good time to keep this going. Delmore for 3. 11-point deficit. I had a coach turn to me earlier today and say Delmore's the glue for this Pointers squad. He's so right. As Dick Paith wants time to talk it about with Wartburg. It's a full timeout, and we'll take it with them. Stevens Point on a bit of a run. They've cut the deficit to within 11. Back with more after this.
The love of the game. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that. A lot more.
Sure, the game is important. But as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. And in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Welcome back to the South Point Arena in Las Vegas, where Pointers are on a bit of a run here. Cut their deficit to Wartburg to 11. 56-45 the lead for the Knights. Knights possession, 11:55 left to go in the second here at the D3Hoops.com Classic in Las Vegas. I'm Dave McHugh alongside Ira Thor, though many can't recognize him on air due to fighting a cold. Appreciate his yeoman's efforts along with Pat's.
We are toughing it out.
Hopefully you guys can get through the next 2 days or you're going to hear a lot of me calling games.
Well, you know what we're having for dinner tonight, right? Steak and tea.
There you go. Blocked on the shot by Songalo. Rebound shot, no good. Brown tries to keep it alive, but he's going to get called for over the back. Climbed the ladder a little too aggressively.
Credit to Songalo, though, after getting blocked,
absolutely.
stayed with the play, getting his own rebound. Not able to make the second one go down, but I love the hustle.
Agreed with you. Brown picks up his third foul, by the way. That's a 7th team foul for Wartburg, so that gives Stevens Point the bonus, and that will send Blake Erk to the line. Erkey, I should say. I've been saying Blake's name wrong. I apologize to the fans at home. Erkey, Blake Erkey. By the way, Wartburg shooting 55%, staying hot from deep, or from the floor. 44% from beyond the arc. As Erkey misses the free throw and the battle begins.
And of course,
Stevens Point shooting 36%. And of course, yeah, it's Delmore. Delmore gets the ball again in the corner. We'll set it up, 20 on the shot clock. 11-18 left to go in the ball game. Dodge, who's had a quiet second half so far. Songalo long two, buries it. Pointers are making a comeback, down by 9. And a whistle somewhere.
Yeah, it's a push off just outside the lane.
So they call Erkey for the foul. 4th team foul for the Pointers. So they're not that close to the bonus. And Wartburg brings in basically a whole nother unit. Thanks, guys.
Good luxury to have.
It is. Kickbush in the game along with Sabus. Also in the game is Wasty. Gailing is back in the game, and I'm missing one. We'll figure out. Oh, here it is, right in front of me. Herman, who's taking the 3. Fouled. Does not fall. So a 9-point lead. Songalo picks up his first foul. So a 9-point lead here. Important free throws. First one is up and good for Herman, who's a 76% free throw shooter on the season. Second one is good. He's got one more coming. As into the game for the Pointers is Fredrickson. He will give Dodge a break. Referees don't waste time. Flip that ball right back to him. Didn't care if the free throw shooter was ready. Let's go, gentlemen.
These guys.
2 for 3.
Really, the referees have really been a good job of keeping these games
moving.
Keep
this going. Running another tournament, implored referees to do the same, and it was amazing how many wouldn't do it.
To be honest, when I initially saw the schedule, I didn't think there was any way that this last game would start close to being on time, and it was just 10 minutes off.
It's actually rare. Usually we still start on time. We've had 6-day games where the first game went to overtime. Drive to the paint off the glass and in for Nelson.
By the way, off camera, Pat Collins knocking on wood.
He can keep knocking. 7 years, we've seen some incredible game management by everybody here at South Point Arena to keep the games on schedule. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did that not look like an extra step there from Mr. Herman, but got away with it. And that's going to be a little too aggressive on the defense by Fredrickson, who raked across the face of Wasty. So Wasty will go to the line. 6 team fouls, so the next one will be a bonus situation for Wartburg. Dick Paith in his 21st season, 329 and 215. 605, 33rd overall. So his 21st at another 3-pointer for Wartburg.
Credit the assist there to Sabus, staying with that ball after not having a good control on the initial handle. He bobbled it, knew he was off balance. Instead of picking up the turnover, was able to kind of just touch it back out for the easy 3.
Paith, 33rd overall season, 550 wins in his career, a 62% winning percentage. By the way, they have won just one IAC tournament title. It was last season. And there's another nice play by Tauber inside for Stevens Point to keep them in the fray here, now trailing by 10. Remember, trailing by 20 with 15:59 left to go in this half. And ill-advised effort by Tauber. He's not going to get to the ball. There's no way in his position he's going to get to that ball, reached for it. He's going to get called every time.
Well, those are lazy fouls. And
They
those
are
the ones that
You're
the
not
coaches,
moving your feet.
that drive coaches nuts.
Yep. So Tauber will leave, and somebody will probably discuss it with him. Well, nobody, believe it or not. I think they probably knew. He probably knew what the foul, his mistake was. Into the game for him is Cannon O'Haron. Manger, Wisconsin. 61-51, 9:05 left. Didn't get hurt at the free throw line. Delmore pump faked. You got to respect it now that he's hit it. Oh, nice feed!
That's definitely a foul.
O'Haron wasn't ready for it, but he reacted fast enough to at least put up a shot, so he'll go to the line. 8:54 to go.
So we are now trying the slippery elm
We're just giving you everything,
lozenges.
sir.
By the way, a friend of mine who does games on Fox lives by these things. What his voice is sore, so these things work.
We're going to get you a hot toddy later, sir. Dodge back into the game, and he'll give Nelson a break. We will get you a hot toddy probably later, sir, just to help you out with a little honey in there.
I'll try anything at this point.
I understand.
Still got
less
10
than 9
games to go.
Yeah, we do. Banked it in. Hey, it doesn't matter how it goes in. Just get it in. 61-52.
Plus, I got a game in New York back on Sunday. We are really testing my Energizer Bunny status.
Yes, I was waiting to sneak that in, but I haven't had the right opportunity. 8:38 left to go. Three-pointer no good for the Knights. Big rebound from Dodge. Tries to go quickly up, and that one hit a few Knights on the way. Finally picked up by Wartburg. Quickly up ahead. Layup is good. Going to the line for a three-point opportunity. Sabas with the shot from the feed from Wasty.
Dodge just made a bad decision there, and a ball he wants back, and he's frustrated.
And you kind of saw when he started to release it, you could see him reaching for the ball, trying to bring it back.
He thought something was there that wasn't there.
Agreed.
And by the time he realized, it was too late. The ball had always left his hands.
Agreed. Missed shot. So now the Knights are leaving points on the line. Decent free throw shooting team are not doing well here. I say decent. I will double check coming in what their shooting was. It was 72% coming into the game. Shot in the corner, no good. Collected the rebound. Whereas Stevens Point, not much better, 64% from the free throw line this season. Free throw shooting not been the forte of a lot of teams of late, to be honest. I'm seeing a lot more averages in the 60s than there used to be.
It's just not something that's practiced as much as it used to. It used to be something that I think teams ended every practice with.
And somehow staying with it is Sabas, gets it to fall, and the lead goes back out to 13.
I don't want to say this is the rule.
I think they do practice them, just not in the same way.
Yeah, it's not as much of a it's not a priority.
What I remember was when you shot, I remember if I missed, I had to run for as many times as I missed, plus one run anyway. The idea was that my heart was racing when I went to shoot the free throws, like you would in a game. Too many guys practice free throws in a very calm state.
Yep.
And it's a different scenario. Your heart's pounding, your blood's pumping, your body's a little twitchy.
People are yelling at you.
Right. And my coaches used to sprint me. Dodge with a nice drive and gets it to fall, draws to within 11, and Stevens Point will call timeout. It will be a 30. And Dick Paith is unhappy with his team about something. Nope, it's a full timeout. You know what? We'll take it as well to give your voice a break, sir. Stevens Point trying to get back in it. Wartburg has an 11-point lead. 7:07 left to go in the second. Back after this.
Defining moments. Championship dreams. Share the experience with your family and friends. The 2017 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship, March 17th and 18th at the Salem Civic Center in Salem, Virginia. Visit ncaa.com/tickets for your tickets today.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
In any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
To stand up.
to make our community safe for all.
It's on us.
It's on us to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us
to be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us, all of us,
to stop sexual assault. Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Welcome back to the South Point Arena. There you see the score, 8th annual D3Hoops.com Classic. Wartburg leads Stevens Point 65-54 as we get underway with 7:07 left to go here in the second half of the 5th game of the day. 5th of 15 for this entire event this season. Got still 2 more days of basketball here at South Point, but will be a third done when this one concludes as Wastie's effort rims out. 6:50 left, and Wartburg cannot put away Stevens Point, who now trails by 11, looking to cut it further. Stevens Point called timeout, looking to set something up on offense here. They're not pushing Wartburg to do anything spectacular. Shot inside is no good for O'Haron, but he sticks with it and gets the rebound. Kick out, drive in by Dodge, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Couldn't make it, but they get the free throws. Dodge as a free throw shooter. 15 of 18, as we mentioned earlier, coming into the game. That is a miss to go with what was already a 4-for-4 night. So he's now 4 for 5 from the free throw line. As out of the game goes Gailing. They still have Brown in there for some of the size inside for the Knights.
Dreyos now back as well.
Decent crowd here from both squads. Nice to see the Stevens Point fans who always travel well, and even the Wartburg fans here. We've been seeing some teams in attendance watching this game.
We got to remember, it's not just a fundraiser for the teams to get here.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a very cheap trip.
There's more expensive places. Nice floater in the lane.
It's far more reasonable than the Bahamas or some of these other sites of tournaments, Hawaii. But, you know, it's not the easiest thing, rather than like driving down, 2 states away.
Right. 67-55, Wartburg the lead.
And really, who in this tournament is within driving distance? Santa Cruz, maybe?
Santa Cruz, yeah, Santa.
Occidental, perhaps?
Occidental is, absolutely.
And
Amherst will actually leave this tournament, drive 4 hours down the road to play another tournament against Chapman and Redlands.
Good for them.
Yep. Well, not if you ask GP Gromacki. He likes being here all the way through New Year's. They're going to have to avoid that as a foul called on the Knights on the player control foul. Interesting, it's not a player control foul because they will shoot the free throws. He was on the rebound. 5:22 left, so double bonus now for Stevens Point. So they'll get 2 shots at it here.
I guess Whitman is within.
It's further than you think it is.
That's how crazy you are.
That is true.
How far of a drive?
You're talking to a guy who's crazy, because myself and 3 friends decided to climb into a car in Baltimore, drive nonstop to Tucson.
I mean, that's a little eccentric.
Eccentric, you're being kind.
A couple summers ago, instead of flying to Nashville for the family, we all drove.
That's not a bad trip.
I mean, we made it work.
About 12?
Yeah, 12 hours.
Yeah.
I drove the whole way.
56-60. I did not, as much as I would have loved to have, did not drive the entire 32 hours to Tucson. Wasty with the shot. That one falls. I hit the wrong button on the computer. 69-56. At this point, Wartburg's just keeping the pointers at bay.
So it's 882 miles from Walla Walla.
I was just doing that.
Whitman to Vegas. So 882. What are we talking about?
I got it right here,
sir. 12-hour drive. Yeah, it's doable.
There you go. 13:45.
Oh, you know what happens here?
Because you can't go straight.
Yeah, there's no direct
We ought
routes.
to know that from New England, sir. There's no direct routes in New England either.
Yeah, but driving to Nashville from the Mid-Atlantic.
That's pretty straight.
Down I-81 through Salem.
That's a beautiful drive through the Shannon, down the spine of the Appalachians, through the Blue Ridge. Oh, that's not going to count. You can't hit the shot clock and count the basket.
What do you need a horse?
69-56, Wartburg up here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful drive, and then you hop on I-40 and drive through Tennessee.
Done it, sir. That was part of our trip to Tucson.
But this is a lot more, or a lot less direct.
Yes.
I don't think you really appreciate that until you live in this part of the country.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I had a year, gap year, as Dodge misses a shot before gap years were cool. And first half of my year was spent traveling out in this region. And it was amazing. You'd fall asleep for 3 hours, wake up, and thought you hadn't gone anywhere.
And this is before you went to Scandinavia, right?
Yes, part of the same trip. Drive in, and they're going to call block. Nope, they're calling player control, but there's going to be a conversation because Wartburg's arguing he was in the arc. Hold on. Patience. Patience.
And I think he was.
Block. And Wartburg gets the argument. I think it's the right call.
I agree.
He looked like he was pretty far under the arc.
So you went from Tucson to Scandinavia? Is that how this trip worked?
Started in Denver. We can get into it further, but I visited half the country before we eventually went over to Europe. And 6 months States, 6 months Europe. By bus. With 100 of my closest friends. So a long conversation about this foul. And a fifth foul called on Tauber. And there's another rule I'd like to see getting rid of. No, granted the clock is a lot shorter than it used to be, but
you have 15 seconds.
What's the point? Just tell him to get a new guy in. What's the point? Shot good as Wartburg hits 70 points. And hitting the second one by Sabas as well, 71-56. At this point, Stevens Point is running out of time. They made a nice, valiant effort here. So that three-pointer is going to keep everybody honest here. 71-59, the tray from Fredrickson.
It's going to be a tall task, but as long as they can keep hitting these perimeter shots, they're going to stay in the conversation.
That's true, and that's why they're almost toying with them at this point. 3:25 left to go. Wartburg hasn't played awesome. I wouldn't say they've blown anybody away. But they got a lead on Stevens Point, led by as many as 20 early in this half. But then just kept Stevens Point at bay. Wasty for three with the shot clock expiring, barely caught iron. Put back, no good. And Stevens Point comes out of the melee with the ball.
You know, Wartburg hasn't impressed me like Ohio Wesleyan did. However, what Wartburg does is they don't make mistakes. They don't make a lot of bad mistakes.
I'd argue Ohio Wesleyan also had just one of those nights. Now, they shoot well. True. Don't get me wrong. They shoot like that.
Well, that's a night for the ages as well. But
yeah, but you're right. I see what
still
you're
have
saying.
Another game to evaluate them.
Exactly.
You know, Ohio Wesleyan's going to have a difficult task to try to knock off Whitman at the end of the week.
2:35 left to go here. Wartburg.
But Wartburg is a really good fundamental team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Dick Paith has his team well coached. Songalo with the steal. Well done by him. Can't get it to fall, but he'll go to the line to shoot. You got to be happy if you're Coach Semling with how Songalo has played in this game. Started a little slow, but then has kind of figured himself out and has played very well in this second half. Songalo will go to the line here. Just 4 of 6 from the free throw line just coming into this game. He had only played, he's played in 8 games, but hadn't started any. Shot up and good. That is, he's now 2 for 2, 3 for 3 on the night from the free throw line.
We should mention, by the way, since we were mentioning Erie before.
Yeah.
That Gordon Mann,
our
illustrious
esteemed
partner,
colleague, yes,
reminded us that Barron was actually in Miami.
Was in Miami before that. They almost probably wish they got stuck in Miami. Timeout by Stevens Point. It's going to be a long one. We'll take a break as well. Trying to save Ira's voice for tomorrow, folks. You're watching the D3Hoops.com Classic from the South Point Arena. Back after this.
It starts right when you hit the court. You imagine your finest moment. The game-winning shot that gets you to the dance. A monster dunk or no-look pass, and cutting down the net. Sports lets us dream of our own success and prepare us for our finest moments on and off the court.
Defining moments. Championship dreams. Share the experience with your family and friends. The 2017 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship, March 17th and 18th at the Salem Civic Center in Salem, Virginia. Visit ncaa.com/tickets for your tickets today.
And we're back here with the final game of day one of the D3Hoops.com Classic as Stevens Point is trying to get back and get under this double-digit deficit problem they have with Wartburg, but it's been tough. 2:23 left. And the Knights lead the Pointers 71-61, and the Knights have possession of the ball. 2:20 left. Stevens Point gets the steal thanks to the disruption on the play by Nelson, though the ball's still loose, and we have a
timeout is
melee and a timeout called by Wartburg. We have a wrestling tournament right next to this event. Almost saw one there on the court. It's going to be a 30-second timeout, I believe. It is for Dick Pace's squad.
I still want to take the chance to walk through this arena. You know, I arrived a little bit after the second game had started, so I didn't really get a chance to do that. But
you can't see it here, but a lot of fans are taking in the saloon up to our right. Last year, when Eau Claire was here with both programs, they made that an alumni destination. It was an outstanding effort by the alumni efforts, or the Alumni Association at Eau Claire. They took over the saloon and had a nice spread for their alumni, family, and friends of the program, etc. I do see some people enjoying the games up there as well tonight. With 2:12 left, we're back from timeout. Wartburg with the 10-point lead. 2:10 left. Yeah, so anybody who showed up for Eau Claire, whether it be alumni who are in the area or whether it be
prospective
friends
alumni
of the program, or maybe even prospective. I don't know about the prospective. I really don't know. But 5 seconds on the shot clock. They were up there. And it's another steal as the duo of Songalo and Fredrickson. I'm sorry, Songalo and Nelson get involved.
Talk about giving up your body on the play there. That's a goalkeeper lunge there by Wartburg by a Kickbush.
Jump ball call and it will belong to Wartburg on the. Yeah, I mean
those elbows are gonna be hurting tomorrow.
Whew. Kickbush with a little extra effort.
In a game that's fairly well in hand, that's a lot to give up for your team right there.
And Wartburg gets it inbounded. 1:43 left to go here, winning by 10. Unless Stevens Point gets a stop or two here, this one is going to be complete. 15 on the shot clock as Wartburg not in any hurry. But that Stevens Point defense is still threatening. Wasty versus Dodge. 5 on the shot clock. Wasty steps back for 3. Doesn't even hit the iron. A forced shot that did not look good. Stevens Point with 75 seconds left is going to have to hit a shot big here. Dodge gives up the shot and will get the ball back. Somehow it bounced into his teammates' hands.
They got to get a shot off fast.
Yeah, they wasted way too much time. They get the shot, but with only 64 seconds left. And Stevens Point will call timeout.
By my math, took about 15 seconds to run that play, Dave. That's
maybe
way
longer.
Too much.
Maybe longer than that, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's way too much. Dodge didn't need to give up that three-point look he had. He had to take that shot. That was, that's a helpful shot, and he gave it up immediately. And that's kind of what wasted another 8 seconds before they got the shot to fall. Again, a reminder, tomorrow we'll get 5 more games underway. My wife at home asks, am I the only one who has a voice? Yeah, pretty much. Pat and Ira are down. Yeah. If you want to fly out here, sweetie. Tomorrow we'll start off with Oxnell versus Hamlin in women's basketball at 10 p.m. Eastern, or 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Then a big game. Amherst versus Trine, number 3 versus number 6 at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Followed by Central versus number 6 Ramapo at 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 Eastern in men's basketball. Carroll and Pacific Lutheran will play at 4 o'clock scheduled time. And then Whitman, the #1 team in the country, will take on these Pointers in a rematch of a 2013 game as Wartburg calls timeout while stuck in a trap by a terrific Pointer squad there. That's where their defense is so dangerous, especially coming out of timeouts. But again, that Whitman-Stevens Point game is a rematch of the 2013 game that went to overtime. I think Stevens Point was the #1 team in the country in that matchup. We'll have to double check. They went on to win the national championship, I know that much, and I have said that I think that was a seminal moment for Whitman. They lost the game. They kind of lost their composure a little bit. But that was the turning point for the program. From there, they kind of rolled into what they have become now and taken a very different approach on things.
And Dave, I think
that's Pat Coleman, by the way.
That is, it is.
The voices are sounding similar with you two with colds.
I don't know what you mean by that. No, I was chatting with Eric Bridgeland a little bit earlier this evening. It's a turning point. That game's a turning point for him, too. He says he's only gotten one technical foul since then.
We talked about that on Hoopsville, yeah.
Did that come up? Yeah.
I
mean,
oh, yes, it did.
Well, you know, I had to escort him off of the floor.
Yeah, no,
he got
it was
the
bad.
second tee and refused to leave. And like,
he got 2 tees in 10 seconds.
I'm like, I have to ask you to leave, and if it's not me, then
it's going to be someone you don't want.
A security person's going to ask you to leave.
No, you're absolutely right. It was and it cost them. They had a chance with a 1-possession game. That tee made it a 2-possession game. But I will say it again, that game changed the course of that program, and we will have a rematch of it tomorrow night to finish off day 2 as Wartburg's trying to finish off the Pointers here.
He asked me for my advice, and my advice was to coach all 40 minutes or 45 if necessary.
That's a good piece of advice. I like that. 32 seconds left in this one. Stevens Point fires 3 and hits it. They are not done yet. They are within 5, 71-66 with 29.3 seconds left, and Dodge comes up a little bit lame as he slipped on the floor. And Stevens Point calls timeout. We're going to keep it here despite it being a long timeout because this just got interesting.
Well, a couple times down the floor here for the Knights. They've been unable to avoid the pressure. They're getting themselves trapped, and what it's doing is it's giving Stevens Point some life here and certainly some confidence.
I want to thank the Alliance Bureau, a.k.a. Gordon Mann, who's listening to the broadcast, confirmed Stevens Point was the #1 team in the country for that game against Whitman back in 2013. So a role reversal rematch, basically, coming up. Of course, Whitman coming off a near championship undefeated season last year, lost in the semifinals to eventual champion Babson. They were up 45-20 in the first half of that game before Babson came back to win it. So Stevens Point and Whitman will finish up our broadcast tomorrow. Of course, we're finishing up day 1 here, and Wartburg is trying to hold off a Stevens Point squad that just will not go away.
And, of course, that Whitman game tomorrow will be called by Dave McHugh and the Q.
Yes. Yep, I believe we can get her on a flight early enough to get out here.
I mean, I did it. it's now the in thing.
I agree. I think she would not, but I agree. I don't know how much the kids may be driving her nuts. That might be tempting. As we come out of timeout here. If you're Stevens Point, your defense is good enough, do you try and get the steal here, or do you try and get a stop?
Oh, I'm trying to get the steal right away. Because you've proven right now that Wartburg is having a problem handling pressure.
And they're not fouling, which was that was an interesting tactic. So they didn't go for the quick foul. They're not going for foul here. They're trying to get the stop. Now they got a foul. And there it is. And Gailing will go to the line here as the individual who committed the foul was Garrett Nelson.
See, I think they still wasted too much time. After they avoided the press there.
I think you got to foul in the corner here. Yeah, I almost wonder, though, if it was because he was in the corner that they thought they could get the trap. But, yeah, I agree with you.
You saved 7 to 9 seconds there.
Yeah, Gailing hits the free throw to make it 6-point game, still a 2-possession ball game. This free throw will be key. And it is hit, so now a 3-possession ball game. Should point out, Pointers have 1 timeout. I was about to say Wartburg has 2, but that has now been thwarted as they now have 1. So both teams with 1 timeout, both teams in the double bonus. Wartburg leads by 7 here. I find this interesting that Wartburg calls the timeout. They're in the catbird seat with a 3-possession ball game here. They just need to get back and play smart defense.
I think that's what's going to be stressed here. You know, head coach, Dick Peth is going to stress his team right now. That Stevens Point they're a three-pointer away from making this a little bit more interesting. And 16 seconds is a lot of time in basketball.
Yeah. Dick Pace again, a long-time coach at Wartburg, 21st season, 33rd overall. Of course, Bob Semling, the longtime coach at Stevens Point. He's only in his 13th season as head coach, 268 and 74, four-time coach of the year in the conference, but he was a long-time assistant. He's won 4 national championships at Stevens Point, 2 as an assistant and 2 as head coach. Has come out onto the floor for Wartburg. It is Wasty along with Stolken, also Herman, Kickbush. There's a guy hiding on me, as they always seem to. There he is. It's Sabas. For the Pointers, it is Dodge. And handling the ball now is Nelson. Songalo's out there as well. Long shot, no good. And that's going to do it. Despite Dodge's efforts to foul Wasty there, that shot pretty much ended it. If they couldn't sink that one, there was probably no chance. 5.9 seconds left, and Wartburg will escape. Despite leading this game with 20 with 15:59 left, they will escape this game. Hats off to the Pointers, Ira. Fought back, didn't give up when we thought maybe they were going to. You made a comment. They were on the verge of maybe kicking it out and just getting destroyed, and they fought back in this one.
Yeah, it says something about the fight in these players. And again, not the best Stevens Point team compared to
what we're used to.
Some of the marquee programs in the past, but it's still a resilient club that's not going to give up.
Dodge is going to go for 3 and misses at the final horn. And that will do it. The final score is 75-66. Wartburg with the victory, stay undefeated in Division III, improve to 9-1 overall. Pointers, 2 straight losses, both to ranked teams, as they fall to 6-4. Again, Pointers will be back in action tomorrow in the finale against number 1 Whitman. In the meantime, Wartburg will get a day off. They'll take on Augsburg in a game of Bergs. That will be on Saturday, 2 o'clock Pacific time, 5 o'clock Eastern. Yes, sir.
Well, 3 players in double figures for Wartburg, and I think the fact that the balanced scoring on a day where there was a lot of pressure to keep that lead says a lot about how dangerous this night team is. 16, 15, 14 between Westy, Sabas, and Herman. And they shot well from three-point range, not what we saw in the first game, but
no, they
hit 9 threes, and anytime you hit 9 threes in a game,
pretty good.
That's a good performance.
Yep.
They hit 50% for the game overall. Overall, impressed with the Wartburg squad. Maybe not the prettiest.
No.
But, again,
not bad.
They played good basketball.
Absolutely. For the Pointers, again, a tough loss, but a good fight in them to get back in it. And literally, they were within 5. Big three-pointer made it interesting at the end and had trailed by 20. So a good comeback, though falling 75-66 in the end. As we pointed out, Stevens Point will play tomorrow. Wartburg will get a day off and play on the other side of that. Again, tomorrow morning we will get things kicked off with a 10 a.m. Pacific start in women's basketball. It'll be Hamlin versus, I actually just forgot who they were going to play. I had it in my head. Occidental. The Tigers will take on the Pipers as we get started with 5 more games tomorrow and then 5 more games on Saturday. I want to thank everybody who helped us with our broadcast. Of course, that means sports information directors from all our programs who provided information. I also want to thank the South Point Arena and crew who always do a spectacular job keeping the games moving along here. Of course, our friends at Sport Tours as well. Also want to thank Blue Frame and their production truck technology for giving us the ability to bring these games and their cool and sophisticated graphics as well. And thanks to Larry Radloff, Pat Coleman, Ira Thor. I am Dave McHugh. This broadcast is copyrighted by D3Hoops.com. The sole use. If you have any interest in using it, you better contact us. That'll do it for day 1. Got 2 more days to come. We hope you enjoyed this broadcast. Thanks for tuning in. You've been listening to the D3Hoops.com Classic from Las Vegas at South Point Arena. Good night, everybody. We'll see you here tomorrow.